Okay, we're now officially calling the D303 school board meeting to order on Monday, June 13th, 2022 at 7:00 p.m. Mrs. Marsan, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Barker is absent. Mrs. Bell?
Here.
Mr. Kusher?
Here.
Mr. Lackner is absent. Mrs. McCabe?
Here.
Mr. McNally?
Here.
And Mrs. Fairgrieve?
Here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, moving to our next item, Dr. Pearson with the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Fairgrieve. Well, this evening we have some celebrations and some recognitions that we want to take care of. And so to begin our night, I'm going to ask Mrs. Lewis, principal at North High School, to come to the microphone and make an introduction and then help us celebrate success from the weekend.
Good evening. We have two great introductions this evening. The first person I would like to introduce is Mr. Joe Benoit. Mr. Benoit will be the athletic director next year at St. Charles North. We are excited about the student leadership programs that he wants to develop, as well as creating a professional learning community among all of our coaches. And we're very excited for him to join our team next year.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, D303 Board of Ed. I am thrilled to be here, very excited. We have quite a group behind me here and a lot to live up to going forward. So I just want to thank you and Mrs. Lewis for this opportunity to serve this wonderful community. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you.
Welcome.
All right, I am not going to steal Coach Pullen's thunder here, but I want to let you know that how proud we are of this group of ladies. I don't know that I've seen a group come together as a team and really define what it means to be a team. So it's been really awesome to watch all of them. And their parents have been so supportive. So we're just excited to celebrate them tonight. But I'm going to allow Coach Pullen and Coach Dennison to come up here and do that.
Hello. Thank you. I want to first start by thanking the administration and the board for just providing this opportunity tonight for us. That's makes everything extra special. It's been as memorable as a season as any ever in our lives, I would be safe to assume, and this just adds to it. So thank you very much. I personally, for Coach Tice Dennison and I want to thank you for just allowing us the opportunity to work in District 303 as educators, teachers, coaches, and allow us to do what we love. So thank you for that. I want to thank Tice. He's not an assistant coach. He's a co-head coach. We work together equally, and I think we fit together well and work together well, and he's a great friend. So I want to thank him. I'd like to thank our parents. At the start of the year, it's a great group. At the start of the year, at our meeting, we said that, you know, any program to reach its potential, we need to have a true, sincere partnership between the parents, the players, and the coaches, and we had that. And it's the best that I've been a part of as far as the communication. We had open lines of communication, the collaboration with them. We worked together. They allowed us to coach their kids, and they added positively to the experience, which is great. So thank you to our parents. Finally, this group here, 27-4 overall record, Duquesne Conference champions, regional champions, sectional champions, super sectional champions, and finally the state championship. They're incredible. They're outstanding. They're extraordinary. They really are. All of those adjectives belong with them, and they've made us all very, very proud the way that they've gotten it done. They've done it their way. They're champions on and off the field. They really are. They are as good as they are at softball, and they're very skilled, and they've put the time in and worked to develop their skills. They're better people. They're loving teammates and you know, honest with each other. Nobody holds grudges, help each other. And they're true student athletes in and out of in the classroom, they get the job done as well as on the field. And This season, they were driven by kind of a collective set of goals that we established at the beginning of the season. And I don't know how often we really revisited them, but I know that they were on our mind, and we were checking them off as we went. And they were really focused on getting the job done. I have never had a group, we have never had a group and as unselfish, as competitive, as passionate as this group ever. And I've seen every softball team that's been at St. Charles North. So they're special. And, you know, they answered every challenge that was presented to them. They overcame all the obstacles throughout the season, and definitely throughout the tournament. They were putting some tight spots in the tournament. We won some games on our last at-bats in the last inning. We really showed some grit and determination. And that tournament run was there's no words for it, honestly. Like, there's so many moments in each one of those games that stand out. And that's the best part, is that they've created so many memories that they're going to be able to share for the rest of their lives. They have that with each other, and they have that bond. One thing they definitely did was they enjoyed it. They had fun. They made it even more fun for Coach Tice and I. They did it their way, you know, and that's what that kind of makes it extra special to me. And they've set kind of some new traditions and some things that will continue on. To steal a quote from one of our senior captains, Ashley Chantos, she posted it the other day, and it's perfect. She said that we began the season as a team and we finished the season as a family. And that sums it up. I don't really have the words. I struggle to find them to describe this group, but we love them, and they represented St. Charles North, the school community, to the highest degree. So we want to celebrate them. Thank you. If possible, I believe our captains just wanted to say something real quick.
That would be great.
Just on behalf of me and the rest of the team, we just want to say thank you to Coach Tice and Coach Pullen for such a great season. And on and off the field, they've really helped us become good softball players. And besides that, just great people. And I had the best 4 years of my life with this team and with them. So we just want to say thank you.
As a senior, I just know, like, you kind of go into it and you know that this is the last one. And then last year, obviously, like, we ended on a loss and we got on the bus, and right away we're talking about this year. So it was like, I'd be lying if I said that it was never about the wins, but we got good at winning. And I just want to thank my family and my teammates for making this last year really special.
It was an honor to play. Oh, sorry. It was an honor to play with this team for basically 2 years. I love this team so much. It literally felt like a family. And I think one thing that was really special is we really focused on the little things. And with all the packets that our coach gave us before every single game, I read all of them, by the way. All it said in there was, it only takes the ordinary to be extraordinary. And I think our team really pursued that. We did all the little things right, and we enjoyed the little things. We made the plays we were supposed to make. And I think that was really important. Speaking of little things, our coach gave us a bag, and it had a bunch of rocks in it. And on every rock, it said a word. And one day, I think it was before super sectionals, right? Before super sectionals, he gave us just a bag of rocks, and we sat in a circle with our team, and we assigned rocks to each player. And before every single game, we would kiss the rocks and put it in the bag, and then put it in the middle of the dugout. And that meant the most to us. Every time was, where are the rocks? Where are the rocks? Everybody get your rocks out. And little things like that just made this team so special. And I just absolutely love this team. And thank you for giving me the best senior year I could have. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. You represent our community and our schools very well, and we're so proud of you. Thank you for coming tonight and letting us celebrate with you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We have one more introduction for you this evening. We have a new member of the district team that's here tonight who's on your personnel report for approval. Scott Harvey is here. He's going to be the new Chief Communications Officer, and I'm going to ask Scott to come to the microphone and say just a few words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pearson, and to the board. It's great to be here with you this evening. That's a tough act to follow. I want to thank Dr. Gordon and the search committee for their confidence, and for everyone who's helped me along the way throughout this transition period. Carol, it's been great to connect with you. I wish you the best moving forward, and I really look forward to building upon the strong foundation that's been laid here as your Chief Communications Officer, and just collaborating with my new employees and colleagues rather, and the fellow staff members, the students, and really starting to engage with the community. So thanks so much, and look forward to getting started.
And that concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Just a couple of additional notes that I have before we move forward in the agenda. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank you for your more than 12 years of service with St. Charles District 303. We definitely appreciate all of your efforts over this. It's a very long span. So thank you. And then also we'd like to thank John Baird. We'd like to thank Jan Geyer, and lastly, Carol Smith as well, because this will also be your last board meeting that you'll be at. Again, definitely appreciate your service to the district, and we wouldn't be where we are without you. So thank you. Okay, now moving back to the written agenda, we have a public hearing. So I'd like to call the public hearing to order at 7:12 p.m. If you recall, as a board, we discussed the amended budget at our April 25th Business Services Committee meeting. It was approved at that time. Actually, it was approved at the May 9th school board meeting for public display and public hearing, which we are undertaking right now. So are there any comments from the public? Okay, so closing public comment. How about from the board standpoint? Do we have any comments? Okay, closing board comment, and I will now also close the public hearing at 7:13 p.m. Okay, moving to citizen comments. We do not have any citizen comments at this time. However, I would like to take a moment and just remind everyone in the community that we have several different avenues to reach out to not only the school district, but to the board as well. So we have Let's Talk, which you can identify on our D303 website. There's also an email address to the board as well. And of course, the leadership at each of the schools that your children may attend. So just wanted to remind everyone of that. And then we're moving on to item 4, board member report on committee meetings. So we start with learning and teaching.
Thank you. The Learning and Teaching Committee met on May 16th. We started at 5:31 p.m. We had citizen comments from Janelle Van de Sample on AP testing, Mitch Bridges on health class, and Diana Solstice on the health class and curriculum concerns. For the superintendent's report, Dr. Pearson shared information about graduation ceremonies and the retirement event, both of which have passed at this point. Our discussion items, we had a DEI update. Committee for the DEI includes certified and classified staffs and school level and district level administrators. The committee was focused on keeping students first throughout the process of developing common language, foundational values, vision, mission, and gathering staff and student feedback. Subcommittees use the feedback to refine the DEI draft language. Next steps will include working with the CEC, University of Chicago, to dive into the audit, and findings will be utilized to improve diversity, equity, inclusion within District 303. When the questions that were asked by the board. When will the data be received from the equity audit? And there were several board members that wanted the information shared with CAC at their next meeting, which was the subsequent Thursday. Next up was a conversation regarding attendance. Dr. Igo clarified the difference between excused and unexcused absences, the definitions of chronic absenteeism versus truancy, and in-school versus out-of-school factors that affect attendance. The research shows chronic absenteeism starts early and is harder to correct over time. We will identify trends to determine district level concerns that need to be addressed and specific buildings that need support. The question needs to be answered: how is attendance impacting student achievement? The next steps include, in June, the district administrative team will review the 2021-2022 school year attendance data and identify if adjustments need to be made to district structures and systems. Findings will be shared with building administrators. Building teams will analyze the data and include attendance information with SIP plans as needed. Information and recommendations will be shared with the Board of Education. Board discussion included several questions: how effective and how frequent are interventions? It would be helpful to see what attendance was like prior to the pandemic. What is the attendance data among subgroups? How do we know if we have an attendance problem? Do we have a current attendance policy? The board would like to see the tiered levels of support that are provided to students. Would like to see a comparison of our attendance policy to other districts to form a more formalized attendance policy. Asked if there are resource allocations that we can provide to support student attendance, and are there seasonal factors that affect student attendance? Board of Education would like to see historical data by student groups and by trimester. Clear ideas and recommendations about the attendance policy will be shared in July. Next up were new resources. Dr. Christine Warren, Director of Curriculum, and Dan McFerrin from the World Language TOSA, presented the Spanish for Heritage Speakers resource recommendation as a budget impact of $10,375.70, including hardcover print and 6 years of digital access. There are no ongoing costs for yearly renewals, and board discussion included. Is the 2020 version the most updated version available? And what happens if we add more students to our existing programs? And I believe we received positive responses to both of those questions. And we will be meeting, well, the L&T committee will be meeting next Monday at 5:30 right here. Again, I encourage people to check the website and watch those meetings if possible. And we have, what are some of the agenda items that will be on the L&T meeting for next Monday? Okay. Okay, so there's Empower, they can't hear, so there's Empower, CAI, and AP data updates will be coming next Monday. All right, thank you very much. That concludes the.
Thank you, Mr. McNally. How about from the Citizen Advisory Committee?
We had our exec team meeting on May 12th and then our full CAC meeting on May 19th. Dr. Igo joined us and gave us a great presentation overview with some group work discussing the definitions for some of the DEI work that we are doing, the committee is doing, not we, sorry, in the district. And the community group, the committee found it really helpful and informative, and she will be taking, or already has, I don't know which, taken the information and the feedback that the community, why I keep saying committee, gave to Dr. Igo, and she will report back, I believe, to the July board meeting, if that's correct. And our next meeting is not until September, because I don't believe we are meeting over the summer. Dr. Igo, did you have something to add? Oh, okay. Okay, Dr. Igo corrected me. It's not going to come back to the board in July, possibly in August. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bell, for that update. I will go ahead and highlight some of the items from the Business Services Committee. We had some standing items for discussion related to the Mid-Valley April month-end financial statement, in addition to the D303 April month-end financial statement. We also continued again with another standing agenda item related to the COVID-19 financial impact. From a facility master plan update, which is a standing agenda item as well. The group, the architects and our facilities and finance will be coming back to the committee with a summary of all of the inputs, whether it's related to the citizens or additional stakeholders at a future committee meeting. We also talked about the plan to get the project design and bidding for our air conditioning throughout the district gymnasiums and community rooms. And that is on the agenda tonight for action. We also have an additional agenda item for action related to designation of depositories. And then we also reviewed the first budget draft for the D303 and also Mid-Valley. We have additional items that are on for action tonight related to the setting of the treasurer surety bond for fiscal year 2023, which begins as of July 1st. And then we also have changing of the authorized agent for our Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, which is on action as well. Our playground agreement with our St. Charles Park District, that is up for renewal, and that is actually on consent. We have some additional items related to Munhall Playground construction, which is on consent as well. Rooftop unit replacement, and that is being addressed also, and additional items related to IT renewals and disposal of surplus equipment. And that is it for business services. Does anybody have anything else related to committees they'd like to give an update on?
I did attend the last DPTO meeting of the school year. We met at the library and they have mapped out what they would like to address next year, working on some leadership skills and other items that impact all of them. It was a good meeting, and we said goodbye to Mrs. Smith because she's been the administrator supporting them, and that was a short but very productive meeting.
Hey, thank you for that update, Mrs. McCabe. Okay, moving on to item number 5. Do we have any items for discussion? Not on the agenda. Okay. Then moving to item number 6, which is our consent agenda. Are there any items listed that any board member would like to have pulled from consent? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mr. McNally, first motion, Mrs. McCabe, second. Ms. Marsan, would you take the count?
Yes, Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
and Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, then moving to item number 7 on the agenda for action. Item A is the adoption of fiscal year 2021 to 2022 Community Union School District 303 amended budget. Do I have a motion?
So move. Oh,
Okay. First by Mr. Kuchert and second by Ms. McCabe.
sounds good.
Ms. Marsan, will you?
Yes. Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
and Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Item 7B is designation of depositories. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mrs. McCabe has the first motion, Mr. McNally second. Ms. Marsan, will you take the roll?
Yes, Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
and Mrs. Fairgrave.
I abstain. But motion still passes with 4 pass and 1 abstain. Item 7C, district-wide gymnasium and community room HVAC improvements. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McNally has the first, Mr. Kuchar the second, and will you take roll?
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Item 7D, setting the amount for the fiscal year 2023 treasurer's surety bond. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. McCabe. With the motion, Mr. McNally, the second. Ms. Marsan.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Item 7E, change of authorized agent for Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, thank you, Mrs. McCabe has the motion. Mr. Kuchar second.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. And item 7F, Haynes Center Rooftop Unit Replacement. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McNally with the first, Mrs. McCabe second.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
and Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving to item 8 for information. Just want to draw to your attention, there are several items in the packet related to our District 303 financial report and also the Mid-Valley financial report, Freedom of Information Act requests. We have an update on district enrollment and finally a COVID-19 summary. Moving to number 9, new business. The first item that is on is related to board committee assignments. I want to make sure, first of all, that all the board members did see that you have a sheet which identifies all of the chairs for each of the committees and also what the committee schedule will be for the next 12 months. Also would like to point out for the audience and the community, this same schedule is posted on the D303 website under the school board section of that website. And then also just for additional transparency, I'll run through very quickly who the chairs are. For Business Services Committee, Mrs. Barker and Mr. Lackner will be the chairs. For Learning and Teaching Committee, Mr. Kuschert and Mrs. McCabe are the chairs. For the Policy Committee, Mrs. Bell and Mr. McNally are the chairs. And we are still establishing the schedule for the Citizen Advisory Committee, which we will look forward to doing closer to the new school year. Okay, any questions or comments related to this piece? Okay. Okay. Now moving to item 10, our citizen comments at the end of the meeting. We do not have any at this time. So now we will look to item 11, which is moving to closed session. For the purposes of first, litigation, when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. And second, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. And finally, for security procedures, school building safety and security, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property. Okay. I need to get a vote.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. McNally.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bell.
Mrs. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Kuschert,
Yes.
Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
and Mrs. Fairgrave.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. So the public portion of the meeting is now adjourned at 7:32 PM as we move into closed session.